What is going on? Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Making the Case for Your Lawyer Dreams. We come to you live in full effect on IG Live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. CST. We took a break for the past 2 weeks, but we back in full effect. What's going on, Michelle? What's going on in Bidgescow? I'm excited. The reason why we have this show, Making the Case, is for you guys to get an opportunity to talk to lawyers, judges, law students, people making moves, doing what you want to do, who look like you. Our goal for you guys is for you guys to see people doing what you want to do and also seeing how they overcame their challenges to manifest their lawyer dreams. So what? You guys could do the same. I'm so excited. We've been so blessed to have so many guests come on. And I'm so excited about this other guest that I got coming on. And so as our room continues to fill up, I want you guys to let us know where it is that you're viewing our session from. Of course, I'm holding it down over here in St. Louis. It's not the place where I want to be. It's the place where God has me. So where are you viewing our session from? Right now, you guys, we are definitely in networking season, y'all. It's networking time. We know we got a lot of law school fairs coming up. We got law school fairs coming up in Atlanta. We got 2. I know I'm going to be a panelist at 1 in Atlanta on September 27th. I want to see you guys there. Also, we do know that the Law School Admissions Council forums are starting to kick off too, and they're also going to be in Atlanta on September 27th. And so I want you guys to understand the value and the importance of attending these forums. They're going to be in person and they're going to be virtual. This is the opportunity. What's going on, Latoya? What's going on, Jersey? What's going on, North Carolina? Louisiana in the house, my second home. Charleston in the house, my third home. What's up? Only thing we missing is Nashville, which is my first home. But nevertheless, we're excited. I want you guys to know that we have created this space on BecomingJD to give you guys the support you need. Latoya, my girl right here in the chat, she's really been holding it down, being a great ambassador for us in our LSAT support group. Thank you so much, Latoya. Our LSAT support group is called the LSAT Ain't Got Nothing on Me. We're at like 420 deep in there. It's free $99 to join. We also have another amazing group that was started called the LSAT Accountability Group. Of course, it's free $99. I want you guys to be able to join these groups so you can be able to surround it by people who are all fighting and grinding for the same dream that you have. We do not allow any capping at all. And so I want you guys to make sure that you join these spaces and get the support that you need. I know at times on your lawyer journey, y'all, it can feel like you're riding solo dolo. But I'm here, y'all, to let you guys know we have an entire community of people all working, all grinding. And the beautiful thing is our community continues to grow and grow every day. We have an amazing group of lawyers, an amazing group of law students, an amazing group of judges, and now an amazing group of people all here to help you guys manifest and navigate your space. I know Latoya's talking about a support group right now. I know that we have an amazing gentleman in the support group who, this king is busting 180s on the LSAT. He was dropping some gems in the support group, which again is free $99. And I'm trying to get him to be able to do a live with us so we can try to help you, learn how to navigate the LSAT. Because if he's busting 180s, that means he's doing something right. And I want everybody on here to make sure that they're doing the same thing too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get another amazing sister-in-law. I call you guys brothers and sisters-in-law because we all share a love for the law and we're all connected by the law. So we're either brothers and sisters-in-law. So we have an auntie here to be able to drop some gems. Let's go ahead and get her on. Her name is Tremaine and my girl is doing big things. Let's go ahead and get her on. Guys so much for joining us. Let us know where you're viewing our session from. One of the things I asked you guys to do, this is supposed to be an active space. So make sure that you utilize this space to ask questions, get answers, and be able to catch these gems. Now, what's going on, sis? It's been a minute. I know what me and you've been going back and forth in the DMs forever and a day. Am I right?
I know. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Nevertheless, of course, if you recognize this face, it's the face that you saw in our last post, where she was giving us 5 easy ways to get into law school. And sis, some people still didn't get what that meant. But
correct, because everybody thinks it's easy, but it is not.
But nevertheless, fam, before we go ahead and jump into it, of course, I want to give you the floor to introduce yourself. Let them know the big things that you're doing. And then we're going to really kind of jump into it, because a lot of people, when we see other people winning, we be like, man, well, I'm not like her, so I'm going to not be able to win. But we, of course, are calling cap on that altogether.
Yeah. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Tremaine. Someone immediately heard my accent and is leaving Jamaican flags. Yes, my name is Tremaine Hemans. I am a U.S. immigration attorney based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I represent clients in all 50 U.S. states and around the world in U.S. immigration cases. I attended FIU Law School down here in Miami. I am the first in my family to do a lot of things,
Right.
right? So there's a lot of firsts where I'm concerned, but where this is relevant, I'm the first person to go to law school and graduate law school and become a lawyer in my family. And so I always took that very seriously. And so with that, when I was in law school, I became president of the Black Law Students Association. I advocated for my school accepting more Black students because when I was going there, it was crazy. And so they ended up upping the amount of students. Not saying that that's because of me, but it's because of myself and the work of a lot of other amazing Black students that were at my school at that time and great alumni as well. And then I think my passion for advocacy is why I became an immigration attorney, because it might seem like a losing battle out there, because now, especially with the current rhetoric behind immigration, I feel like, I don't know if I can speak freely here, but I get to spend my life giving the federal government the finger and proving that there are people who do deserve immigration benefit in this country. There are actual issues going on all around the world that we are aware of. And we can't just put our head in the sand and pretend like this country was not created on the backs of immigrants and enslaved people. And so that's what I spend my life doing, is advocating on behalf of those immigrants. Like myself, when I came here, when I was 17 years old from Jamaica, I came here as an international student. And I immediately realized how crazy this system was. And I was like, I need to fix something. If I can get one person approved for something, it will be for a reason. And so that is me in a nutshell. I also mentor anyone who asks me. I will freely give my phone number to anybody that says, hey, I'm Black, I don't know how to do this thing, or I'm from a minority family, or I'm the first to do this in my family. How do I get through law school and all of that? One of my assistants this afternoon, when we literally left the office super late because we were trying to get something filed last minute for our client. And she is also a first in her family. And I literally hired her. The office manager at the time was like, you cannot just hire this girl just because she wants to go to law school. And I hired her just because of that. She was this bright young lady. I don't know if she's lurking around, but Naseem, I love you. She told me tonight that I completely changed her life because of that one decision. And I push her so hard because I'm like, you're so bright, you're so smart. That dream that's in your head, I want to foster it and help you grow it so that you can make it a reality. So I am super excited to be on with Becoming JD, because the work you do is super important. So thank you for having me again.
All right, y'all. Did y'all get all that? So one of the
It's a
things I
lot.
tell people, I said, listen, when somebody tells you that they're here to help, that means that you guys need to go ahead and take that as a wonderful opportunity. Let's keep it a buck, sis. For a lot of us, because I was a first gen too, we were kind of navigating this space by trial and error, trying to figure
Yep.
it out.
Yep.
And for a lot of you guys, a lot of times oftentimes it's challenging because we don't know what to do. But you have
Exactly.
someone here, y'all. She just told y'all. She said, holla at me. She ain't gonna bite. She ain't gonna curse you out. She ain't gonna go off on you.
Unless you
She's here to
waste
help
my
you there.
time, honey, but I'm here to help.
And that's the beautiful thing about our community. One of the things I tell people is, it's like, because there's so little representation in the law field, it kind of becomes its own type of community and family. And I know for a lot of people, you guys out there, you may think, because a lot of this journey, you do feel like you're by yourself. But
Yes,
nevertheless, literally by taking a step out of your comfort zone, it can open up so many doors of opportunity.
absolutely.
Sis just told you, really hired someone because she saw their passion for why they wanted to be a lawyer and wanted to help them learn how to navigate that space. And
Mm-hmm.
so there
Mm-hmm.
used to be a day, sis, when we used to say, well, I can't figure this out. I don't know nobody. We know people.
Yep. That's not the case anymore. And what I find these days, because I started my mentorship program in the pandemic, I ended up, to be honest, I'm just going to toot my little horn a little bit. Like, the Florida bar in my state gave me an award for the advocacy I did through that organization. But the problem is is that nowadays I find, I don't know if it's that young law students today or people who are aspiring to go to law school are scared to reach out to us, or they are again feeling like they're by themselves because the pandemic kind of made us all put us back inside the house. So we don't really know that, people really do want to help you. I know that it's a super combative time in US history right now. Every man for himself. We're super divided and all of that. But you guys do have the help if you want the help. Do not be afraid to reach out. I feel like people like this beautiful platform, myself and other mentors I know, we are fighting to get y'all to reach out to us, which is crazy. There's so many resources out there, but you just have to ask for the help.
Absolutely. And so I pray that you guys utilize this as a space. I oftentimes tell them in the stories, I'll be like, listen, fam, we just ain't here to scroll. Click and holler. It's not, I do not post people and share the tags to their accounts for no reason.
Exactly.
But nevertheless, the truth of the matter also is just we've been there too. And we remember when we were there, oftentimes it was challenging. And one of the things I love to do on our show is because, of course, they could go check you out. They see all the success you're doing. But one of the things I really try to highlight is I want to be able to normalize the struggles that we all go through. So people could be like, oh, well, hold on. She did that and she overcame that. So,
oh, yeah.
Okay, so maybe I'm on the right track.
Yes.
Oh, God, that there's some easy button that we're supposed to press and everybody else is pressing it. And because we ain't got one, that means, oh, man, I guess I shouldn't do it. So I want to start by asking you the question of, what would you say is one of the biggest challenges that you overcome first when you started pursuing your dream of becoming a lawyer?
Let me start off by saying, because I find that I have to preach that to people a lot, because I feel like I'm at a really shiny place in my career right now. So it sounds really nice and it looks really sexy on paper. It took me 13 years to finish law school. 13 years. It's supposed to take us 7, as we know. It took me 13, twice as long. Okay. This was a career that I had to fight for. I had family members, I had friends, I had well-meaning people tell me, girl, you're starting to sound crazy that you want to be a lawyer, because clearly everything in the universe is telling you that this is not going to work. So a talk that I do with a lot of students, and when I get to do speaking engagements, I call it the power of no, because just everybody telling me I couldn't do it, and I'm a Taurus, I'm very stubborn. So I felt like I had to prove a lot of people wrong, and that's what fueled me. I went through more than we will have time to talk about on this show, trust me. So I had to overcome that. I became best friends with imposter syndrome and had to figure out how to overcome that, because if everybody else is telling me I can't do it and the field of law doesn't look anything like me, then clearly I'm not supposed to be able to do this. And then I'm also walking in with an accent. So now you don't even think I belong here. You know what I mean? So more than I could tell you, man. I lost so many friends. I lost family connections because I was unrelenting in putting myself first, because I knew that if I did not pursue this career, I would regret it for the rest of my life. And every day I walk into my high-rise office and I sit up in my chair, I turn my computer on and my assistant tells me what meetings I have today. I literally have a moment where I'm like, I really did this shit. Like, I really did it. Like every day I'm like, there is no way, because everything, when I tell you everything was telling me that this was not going to work. So I hope you guys do follow me, because I love sharing bits and pieces of the story, but it's so hard to tell the whole thing. But yeah, I went through lots of childhood trauma, where I remember when I was 15 years old, I tried to take my own life because there was just no way things were going to work out for me. I have been through everything that you can possibly think of to make you be like, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever life tells me to do and just give up. Whatever works, works. But I think you have to be empowered by the things you've been through instead of become a victim. Right. Being a victim of everything does not do shit for you. I'm sorry. No. It doesn't do anything. Okay, it's not going to do anything for you. Like, that's great, and you tell the story and people cry with you, but then what? You know what I mean? What happens then? You really have to be empowered by it. Be like, you know what? I have been through all these things, and that's why I'm going to win. God has brought me through. If he could bring me through this, that, and the third, he can bring me through anything. I literally believe that there's nothing I cannot do because I have God behind me. I I know I have God behind me. There are times where I felt like He's the one that carried me through certain things. For those of you who are already in law school, you already know, bro, that first semester, you start questioning your whole life decisions. Why did I do this? What do you mean I have to read this many pages for one class and there's 3 more classes? Oh, absolutely not. Just that alone, like, if you have survived your first law school class, survive the next one and survive the next one, survive the next one. And that's how you do it. Talk to people, go to office hours, do whatever you can, but you can do it. I promise you. I am a walking testament of that, and I will help you through it. Literally follow me if you want more, if you want me, if just DM me. Whatever the problem is. I'm super busy, yes I am, but after 5 p.m. I will answer the question. But
I
yeah,
mean,
so
y'all,
there's too much. It's too
if
much.
y'all miss Bible study and need to get a word, yo, we got the sermon happening right here, y'all. We popping over here. And I just want, and the thing that's so amazing about it is, I know one of the things I tell people is this is like, whatever challenge that you've gone through, it didn't break you.
No.
It didn't beat you. So because of that, it's just like, how dare I stop?
How dare I?
And so
Imagine God giving you breath. God giving you breath in your lungs every single day is affirmation that you should still go after what the hell you want. That's the affirmation. Even on days where I don't feel like it. I remember when I used to work for somebody, because, I don't think I said that too. I also own my own law practice. So I feel like when I was working for somebody, I did not want to go to work. And I had to give myself a pep talk every day to go to these people's jobs. I thought about, okay, how many sick days do I have, Lord? What can I say to get out of this today? I cannot. When I tell you that I have an internal clock that wakes me up to get in for my clients, here's one of my favorite clients is in here. And so one of them is that she can be a living testimony. I eat, sleep, and breathe this. I love what I do so much. And I literally repeat that to myself every morning. I'm like, look, my eyes are open. I'm alive for another day. I get to do this every single day. Get up and get it done.
I love it. Y'all got that energy, man? So y'all got that energy. And so one of the things I think that's amazing, I definitely want to dive into you because is when did you realize that, you know what, man, me and the law, we got this thing. I love this. Even though it's
This is my
hard.
This is my favorite story to tell because I feel like nobody's really honest about that. When you grow up, like I won't say most Black kids because the Black is not a monolith and we all go through different experiences. But I feel like a lot of us share the story where you want to go for a career, and the first time you see somebody doing it is not somebody in your family or somebody that lives in your community. It's on TV.
Yeah.
I saw Maxine Shaw, honey, and I was like, that is the thing I want to do. I was like, all I do is talk, all I do is argue. I'm always ragging on somebody. That is what I do. And then I remember seeing Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and for personal reasons, that one really resonated with me. And at the time, it was Casey Novak. It was a lady lawyer that was the prosecutor on that show, and she would own a courtroom. And I was like, is this what I'm supposed to do? And from that day, I was 12 years old. And yep, the Maverick did it for me. The Maverick did it for me. Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's so amazing about that is for so many people, and for my young kids out there who don't know who Maxine Shaw is,
Go
Maxine
watch
Shaw
Living
was
Single
Living
immediately.
Single. It's on TV One. It's on repeat. Go back and check out that gym because it is there with a different world. Don't miss
Yep,
out.
it's on Hulu, darlings.
But the thing that's amazing is for so many of us, the first imagery of lawyers were what we saw on
Yeah,
TV. I remember for me,
yeah.
I remember when I got sick, I was watching Judge Joe Brown, Judge Judy, Judge Hatchett, and that's where I learned about the
See?
law.
Yeah.
And realizing that, oh my goodness, off the Cosby's. That's where I first learned what lawyers were. And so one of
Mm-hmm.
the things I oftentimes tell my students is that as you start your journey, wherever it is, you oftentimes get what I call our affirmation moments. Moments in your
Mm.
life when you realize, yeah,
That's
it's
it.
hard, but I'm on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get my girl Nancy, who just joined the chat just now. I want you to tell me, sis, like, what were some of the moments when you were going on your journey where you were like, yeah, this is it. I'm feeling the vibe. I'm supposed to keep going this race.
Okay. So that was the spark, right? I went to an Anglican all-girls school, and think of the equivalent of an all-girls Catholic school here in the U.S.
Okay.
I was bullied mercilessly. Bullied, honey, which is funny because a lot of them bullies are so proud of me these days, but that's another story. Anyway, yeah, so being the voice for somebody else means a lot to me. And I remember every time I had to stand up for another kid or just sit at lunch with somebody that was being ostracized by people. So standing up for people also became important to me. And then I used to argue myself out of everything. I joined debate. I did everything at school. I did all of the little clubs and everything. And I was always the president of something. So I knew I was supposed to be a leader. That's always been it came naturally to me. And then I remember when I moved to the US and I had my first English class with my then professor, Dr. Patrick Ellingham, may he rest in peace. That is a white man that stuck with me through the entire journey.
Wow.
And every time I tried to give up on myself, he would remind me that I'm supposed to be at every single graduation that you have on your journey to law school.
Wow.
And I meant that. And he attended every graduation up until law school. And he died shortly after I graduated from law school. And that man kept me accountable. But the first assignment I did in his class, he wanted me to write a 3-page paper on something. And I picked Bob Marley because I honestly think being Jamaican is the most interesting thing about me because we're kind of awesome, right? So I wrote my paper on Bob Marley. And he gave me a B on that paper, and I've been an A student my whole life. And I went to his office because the notes he put on my paper was that I had too many spelling errors, but it was only because I was a new immigrant. And so I speak real English, love you Americans, but I speak the Queen's English, how dare you? And so I went to this man's office. I'm 17 years old, 90 pounds, pissed. I went with the Oxford Dictionary and I was like, first of all, I can spell, okay? And as an English professor, I need you to know that. And he was like, you must want to be a lawyer or something, because who does that, right? Because obviously he overturned the grade and gave me my rightful A. And he was like, that affirmation was another spark. And things just kept happening. Like, I eat, sleep, and breathe lawyer. I knew I was always supposed to be one. That was just, I don't know what else to say. There's always been affirmations along the line that this is what I'm supposed to do. I've never let people play with me. I don't let people play with the people I care about. That's just in my DNA. So I knew I had to be defending people. And then when I got to law school, where it was like fight or flight, being in that environment, I was like, I need to graduate.
Yeah.
What is this I'm learning about, Dred Scott? What do you mean I'm not a full human being? What do you mean? Because remember now, I'm foreign black. We don't know the stuff that happened here during the civil rights movement and all. We don't know. We just know slavery happened in the Caribbean. We burned shit down until they were like, you know what? Let me just leave y'all with your land. I can't do this no more. But we didn't really know the nuances of when African Americans went through to get their freedoms. I have such respect for African Americans in this country because y'all fought tooth and nail to get to, which is why y'all need to vote. Black people not voting piss me off in this country. Please go out and vote in November. But anyway, and so learning about how important being a member of the 5% of lawyers who are black was, there was nothing that was going to stop me because I got the biggest chip on my shoulder. I still have it, I think. And I just had to win. I had to win. I went to work for ICE in my first year after my career services program told me that my grades weren't good enough, because I went into law school after working a full-time job. I was married. And so I don't have the luxury of living in a high rise on campus. I am Baroque, honey. I'm trying to make it. And so I had to drive to Broward County every day. If you're in South Florida, you know what that means. I had a 2-hour commute each way to school. I lived in Coral Springs, and FIU is in BFE, Miami, on the west side. You guys know if you know. If you know, you know. And so I felt like when I went to work at ICE and I saw the plight of immigrants, because now I am on the government attorney side, being their law clerk, and I'm seeing that people are just numbers to these people, not by intention. It just becomes like that if you let it, you know what I mean? Because they see so many people every single day. And I was like, I don't want to be on this side of this. I know this is the area I want to be in, but someone needs to speak up for these people, because there's so many people who would come in, they have no lawyer, or they're paying this lawyer so much money, and they're not doing a closing statement. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're the lawyer. Like, what is happening? So that was another spark. So there's so many affirmations, but mostly the biggest affirmation, honestly, was every time someone told me I couldn't do something. Every single time someone told me I couldn't do something. Yeah, the last big spark I remember before I passed the bar was one of our bar coaches told me he didn't think I should take the bar exam because I was scoring too low in the practice exams. And I looked at that man dead in his face and I was like, I know you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, but you have no idea who I am. Of course, it was not a black man telling me this, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was like, you don't know who I am. You don't know what it took for me to get in this seat, which I've already communicated most of it to you guys tonight. So I'm going to take this exam. And I passed it on my first try because, again, now I have to prove you wrong, sir. I got to prove you wrong. So, yeah, there's so many things, but those are the big ones that I remember.
And I think the thing that's amazing for my guests who just came on live, we are live and in full effect with attorney Tremaine. Sis is doing it big. I hope you guys are getting these messages, getting these gems, and getting these inspirations. Because at the end of the day, literally on this journey, people are going to tell you no. And that no may come in the form of, hey, don't do it. Other may come in the form of, maybe you do have to retake the LSAT. Maybe you do have to retake the LSAT. Maybe you do have to get rejected.
Remember I said that it took me 13 years, guys. Delay does not mean denial. Sometimes if you have to retake an exam, that is God telling you that there's another experience he wants you to get before you get to this stage. So either you can appreciate it better, you can represent your clients better. Every experience I had on the way to law school has helped me represent my clients. Working at the Publix deli taught me humility. It taught me customer service. It taught me how to lead from a place of service, to come to my job with joy and find joy in what I was doing. And slicing cheese, honey, even if it means I get an extra slice of Havarti cheese today. Working at IKEA taught me how to be a good boss, because my boss would not let any customer yell at me, honey. And it also taught me that the American sensibility that people cannot do things by themselves is foolishness. You know what I mean? So big up IKEA to this day. That was my favorite job. And then my beautiful mother-in-law, Michelle McNabb Hemans, she always tells me that the most important lessons you get in this life are non-examples. So every lawyer I worked for as a paralegal and then as an attorney were non-examples of what I did not want to be as a lawyer, and also how I should treat my staff, you know, because I ain't gonna lie about that. There's some crazy people out there, okay? My first job, they put me in a hallway when I was a Juris Doctor waiting for my bar results, and there was an empty office right there, but I sat in the hallway while the other two white lawyers had offices. I didn't even realize that was a problem until I left, but there's so many experiences along your journey. So don't look at it like, damn, I failed this thing. That means it's over. No, maybe it's not yet. You know, maybe it's not your turn yet. Try again. If this is the thing that puts a fire in your belly, do not give up.
Man, you got me hype over here. You got me like hella hype. And so one of the things, because I work with a lot of students who either parents are immigrants or they have just recently come to the States when they were in high school. And I know one of the biggest challenges that they oftentimes struggle with is they oftentimes feel uncomfortable about their accents, and they're worried about how they're going to be received and things of that nature. And I wanted you to be able to kind of just give them the real, because
listen to me.
Authentically yourself is so important, but I think a lot of times people may be kind of nervous or scared.
No. Like I said before, and I will always say it, being Jamaican is the most interesting thing about me. When I walk into court, I feel like people like just listening to the way I speak, because I'm speaking to you guys very informal. When I'm in court, I am very Jamaican, honey. And it's very melodious, and people like to hear so even if I'm saying bullshit, it sounds great. If you follow me on TikTok or on Instagram, I really lean into my culture to like teach things about immigration, because immigration is so complicated and boring, you know, so I find fun ways of teaching stuff on my page. Lean into your culture. What you are makes you interesting. And I think being an immigrant in this country is a flex. Do not let this orange man confuse you. Lord Voldemort don't know what he's talking about, okay? Don't let the political climate here confuse you about the importance of you being in this country. You bring seasoning to this place, okay? They would be eating bean puddings or something, or meat pies, if we didn't come to this country, if they didn't have the influence of our Latina community and Latino community, of the Black Caribbean community, our African community. Like, where would y'all be? You would have no curry, honey. There would be no seasoning. Listen, and plus, this country was built on immigrants. This is your place.
That part.
This is your place. So do not let anybody punk you out of that. And for my Latin and Hispanic people, I'll tell you a story. One of the smartest people I knew in law school, her name was Leah Lopez, and she was friends with this other girl named Alina. Alina's married now. I forgot what her married name is. But both of them, one of them was from Colombia, and she moved here, having already been a lawyer, did not know the language. Alina moved here from Cuba, did not know the language. They struggled. I watched them struggle so much to communicate and write and speak, because I cannot imagine learning English, right? You are a different kind of great if you are learning English at the level that we have to speak English, because I feel like lawyer English is a whole different science.
Right.
You know what I mean? They graduated at the top of their classes, passed the bar, and are now successful practicing attorneys. Do not let anybody tell you that a language barrier cannot make you do that. There's nothing that can stop us. Immigrants we are cut from a different cloth, honey, because getting up and leaving your culture and everything you know to be plopped in another society and have to deal with that culture shock is another layer that most people who are from here won't even understand.
Right.
You have a different sauce on you. You have an advantage on all the other ones, because we got to win. We have to win. If you're an international student, you get kicked out of school and your parents are paying 2-3 times the tuition. The stakes are higher for you as an immigrant. That does not, no, don't shy away from your light, honey. You earn that seat, take up space. We are the best of this country, and speak with your accent.
Said. And I thought that was beautiful. Literally, someone in the comments was like, that was one of their biggest insecurities. And I was like, ooh, come here, you talked in the DMs. I was like, we got to.
That is not an insecurity, baby. That is a gift that God has given you. You bring a different perspective to so many things, Listen, because Dr. Jathan is one of my clients, and she's a dentist, also a first gen. Big up you, doc. Love you, always proud. And I can't even imagine going into medicine as an immigrant, because we do words, they do math and science. Listen, so if you made it here and you're in these programs and you're killing it, do not let your culture be the thing that makes you cower. Are you crazy? That's the thing that makes you most interesting.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about, because oftentimes it feels like when you do go on your lawyer journey, initially you're programmed to go work for somebody. You're programmed to go literally put in a lot of slave hours. Maybe that's the wrong word.
No,
I'm going to use that word.
It is.
And with this ideal dream of I'm going to get partner. But
right.
One of the things I think that's been kind of awesome is, like, literally, I think, how do I say this? It's going to sound crazy. I'm going to say it anyway. I feel like the pandemic forced a lot of people to be like, hold on, I got to get my own ish together. And so I want to know where that leap was for you, because I love it, because I see so many amazing attorneys saying, forget that life. I'm about building my own legacy and creating my own foundation.
Mm-hmm. Now, this, I think, gets over glamorized though. So I'm going to give you guys the real. I'm going to tell you the real. Do not have the mindset that you're going to run your own practice if you are scared of hard work. If you just want to say you own your own firm and your name's on the door, your name's in the email, and I don't work for nobody, I don't want to work these hours. You work more hours, babe. It is 10 o'clock at night in Florida, and I am working. I am online working, okay? If I leave my office early, I'm working from my house.
Right.
There's always something to do, so you don't get to turn it off. So let me be clear about that. I have a whole support system of us young Black lawyers down here, because there's a lot of us down here that are like, yeah, I'm gonna do it by myself. But we have a support group, babe. We're all in therapy, all right? Because this shit is hard. It's not easy. So let me start there. But what made me decide to go work in my own firm? West Miami is very racist. And I started my career in 2019, September 2019, right before pandemic. And if you guys remember 2020 and early 2021, they were after us all over the country. There was protests all over the world about the George Floyd incident. Yeah. There were so many things going on. And I was not in a healthy environment. They were very nice people, but it's the microaggressions that get to you after a while. And that is why I started therapy, because I had so much anxiety. I was being watched around the clock. Like the time, I'm a salaried attorney who has an almost 100% success rate at this law firm. I'm bringing in business, and I am driving from an hour and a half away to come here during the pandemic. And you're gonna tell me work started at 8:30. It's 8:35. Get away from me. Get away from me. Every single day, everything I did was started becoming a problem. And it wasn't my boss. I will say that. It's who was running the office. The more I talk about this, the clearer I speak, because I always try to have some be nice, but we're going to talk tonight. And so I was just like, I kept complaining. My husband was like, you know what? Why are you doing this? Like, no one's forcing you to do this. We do not need you to do this. Thankfully, there was mortgage forbearance. I wasn't paying no student loan. He's like, bro, just come home and we'll figure something out. Wow. One of my mentors, that is one thing I'll say about me. I will keep repeating this. Y'all need to get mentors. I have about 11 of them. I have one for everything. And so one of my mentors, she's an immigration lawyer. She told me that the knowledge I have, she says, you know more than half the attorneys that come before me. She's like, you don't need to work for nobody. And I've been telling you this for months. And so with that validation of what my husband told me, I feel like every time I do a risky thing, I feel like I'm having an outer body experience. And the logic in me is like, girl, what the hell are you doing? And that day I felt like I was having an outer body experience. I don't remember what they said to me. Oh, yes. I had just come off a really big win in an asylum case, but I was being given a lot of work. And I felt like other people were not getting the same amount of work. Y'all know what I'm talking about, because I'm the do girl. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done every single time. I became ill that February. It was making me sick. I could not sleep. I was having anxiety. It was really bad. And so I got my March schedule and it was the same thing. And then they were trying to tell me, oh, well, since you're so stressed, let me just take some off your plate, like I was being lazy. And I was like, you know what? That is the last time you disrespect me like this. I went on my lunch break. I went to Staples, got some bankers boxes, came back, had my favorite paralegal, big up you, Jorge, okay, because he's super tall. Jorge helped me get all my degrees and shit off the walls. I wrote my goodbye to my team of 5 paralegals. They shut off my computer before I could get it done, because that's how much they were watching me. Wrote my resignation letter and took it to my boss's office with tears in my eyes, because I love that man, but I was like, I can't do this. It's too much, you know what I mean? So I left. When I left, a few months before, I was laid off, because when the pandemic just hit, a lot of people got laid off because, to be honest, most firm owners and business owners, they didn't know what was going to happen. So I'm sorry, I got to cut the fat to make sure that this business keeps going. So I was one of the newer attorneys, so I got cut first. And that kind of showed me also how disposable I was to these people, And when I was on leave, someone just messaged me. And of course, because of client confidentiality, I can't say who it was. But this person is the first person that showed me that I have my own referral base. That's when I started my Legally Trim Instagram when I was in law school. And I was so excited to share that, hey, I'm a new lawyer. Boom, boom, boom. So I had already started a little base online where people already knew I was a lawyer. So they wanted me to be their attorney. I was like, yo, I'm not even working for a firm right now. It's literally just me. And he was like, that's fine. And I was like, this is what I charge. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, oh, I can do this from my house, right? So I already knew that seed was planted, that even if I left, I was going to be okay. I feel like God was helping me put up the building blocks to do this before I started, and I didn't even realize. And so I left. I called one of my mentors, and I was like, listen, I think that's it for me. And he was like, okay. We're going to go on a Zoom call tonight, and I will teach you exactly what you need to do to get this done. Because again, I'm first gen. I don't know how to do any of this. Marlon Hale, I love you, and I will never stop saying how much you changed my life. My mentor took time out of his schedule to sit with me and say, hey, here is a checklist of all the things you need to do to start your law firm. You need to meet with about 3 or 4 people so they can help you along with this. Because another thing my mother-in-law taught me was the worst thing people can say to you is no. So I was like, in law school, if you in law school now, you know, these private bar associations, they love to use us for free labor, honey. We go to the galas, they have us working, they want us to volunteer at all the events, take the pictures, they want us to do all the stuff for free. Now I need you to do something for me. Okay. Hi, so-and-so. I just opened my own firm. If you know anyone that needs immigration. One of my mentees is here. Hi, Tina. Super proud of you, baby. But yeah, so I was like, you need to do something for me. Share the information if you know anyone that needs help. And my business took off from there. I've been very fortunate. I've not had to take out one business loan. The favor of God has been on my life so much that it continuously affirms that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I leaned into my social media. Everybody tells you when you get out of law school, you're going to hear about the TikTok lawyers. This TikTok lawyer laughs all the way to the bank. I never have to worry about where my next client is coming from. My TikTok people got me every single time. And so I leaned into my strengths. And that's, again, I think because of my personality. Like, this is who I am. I cannot change who I am. It makes no sense me trying to be someone else. People pick up authenticity on authenticity so quickly. And I have built a following of over 50,000 people across Instagram and TikTok because they know that what you see is what you get. And then when you hire me, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? In a more professional, demure manner, of course. But I just am who I am. And I feel like who I am as a person and the passion that I have for what I do and for wanting to help people, honestly, that is what has made my business successful. I built a 6-figure firm in the first year. I've had people reach out to me, try to buy my
hold
practice.
On, you didn't add that part. During the pandemic. Hold on,
yes.
add that part, right? Woo.
Yeah, and that's because of the hard work and because I leaned into my strengths. But if you are I have a beautiful Black girl that works with me and she apologizes for everything. And every day I check her when she apologizes for something that is out of her control. What are you sorry for? Stop apologizing for your existence. You are here despite whatever your parents, your siblings, your family members, that person who tried to hurt you, whoever I'm speaking to, God is leading me to talk to somebody right now. That person who tried to end you was not able to do that. And you honor that every single day. Get up and show up for yourself and for all the people who are going to need you to become this lawyer. This is a noble profession. We get to do this. It's not a right that we have to do this thing. What we go through in law school, dude, getting to even sit the bar exam, bro. We have to apply to sit the bar. You understand what I'm saying to you? And when you get into this profession, I don't care if you're working on commas on a contract in big law. That's somebody's money that they have entrusted to you and your firm for you to do your job. Okay? So you will not dishonor God and dishonor the breath in your lungs and that fire in your belly by apologizing for your existence. That'll make no sense. You're already here. What are you going to do about it?
Woo. Oh.
Right. My friend Fitz is like, and law school ain't free. You know them, all them zeros that are going to follow that debt when you leave, unless you have scholarships. Thanks to BecomingJD, unless you have scholarships. The stakes are high. The stakes are too high for you to be questioning your existence. That's insane.
And I think one of the beautiful things, like somebody said a comment about what you said, and I was like, ooh, she took it right out of my mouth. I was trying to pin it, but I didn't. She said, one thing I've learned, if you're afraid to move, God will move you into the direction you're supposed to go in.
Whether you want to or not. Whether you want to or when I tell you how many times God has done that for me, where I got comfortable somewhere and he said, great, I'm gonna just remove that because I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying to you. I've been showing you that this is what you're supposed to do, and you're over there being scared and not doing it. So that thing that's making you comfortable, I'm gonna remove it. Lost my job a few months before I went to law school because I love that job. He was like, no, I said you're going to law school.
I mean, the funny thing I think about it, I don't want to take y'all to church, but hey, we about to go to church.
Let's go.
I mean, we swear, folk, God, you think Jonah was the only one that had to get swallowed? A lot of us are getting swallowed up right now because God is trying to deliver you somewhere else. And you think that those hardships or those unfair treatments that you're going through, why is God allowing it to happen? Because he wants you to be uncomfortable and he wants you to move out.
Yeah.
And he wants you to pivot
you
to
know
a
what?
different situation.
Sometimes, because in this season of my life, what I'm learning is the thing that makes you comfortable could be a good thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. But if there's something, and you know what that something is, that God is, he keeps saying it to you and the voice in your head's getting louder, he will lead you to do what he's telling you to do. And even when you're like, what is happening? Like, why would I do that thing? He will lead you to the thing that you're supposed to do. I feel like I love being a law school mentor so much because every new experience and every new chapter of my life is something for me to teach my mentees. And that's what I'm learning in this season. It could be good things that I'm fine with. And he's like, no, there is more.
And I think the beautiful thing about it is, and I want you guys, I hope you're able to impress and get from this, is that this whole lawyer journey, from start to wherever you are, it's all about growth and it's all about transformation. You are not going to stay the same.
No.
And in that process of forcing you to change and shed that skin, it's going to be challenges.
It's going to be ghetto, guys. Law school continued. Most lawyers will tell you, honestly, I've never heard one that hasn't said that law school is the hardest thing they've ever done. Law school is the hardest thing I have ever done. I became a completely different person through that experience. It completely changes how you speak, how you think, how you carry yourself, the people you surround yourself, everything. Your life experiences change everything. And so in that hardship, like, you are literally coming out as diamonds because pressure, the pressure of that experience, even if you don't become a practicing lawyer, if you end up doing something else, one of my lawyer sisters on here is also agreeing with me. Trust me. Oh, Latoya, baby, she says the LSAT. Ooh, girl, I'm not going to scare you, but it gets worse. That's the easy part, boo.
Right?
But you'll be fine. We got through it. You'll get through it too. But yeah, it's not an easy situation. And so just don't be scared of that. Go into it excited. You get to become this whole new person. Don't you want to meet him? You don't want to meet her? I love new Tremaine. Old Tremaine would be like, oh my God, you're incredible. You speak out of turn. You speak up for yourself. You are comfortable being the weird kid that loves immigration. Really? You're cool with just letting thousands of strangers see you do your awkward dances? Yeah. Really? I love New Me. She's fabulous. And I'm gonna go grab my Stanley really quick. Give me 1 sec. Let me go grab my water.
All right, cool. And you guys, this is an amazing space. Make sure you fill this up with questions. And one of the things I also think is so amazing about this journey, you guys, is it teaches you about yourself. It teaches you about the so-called limits you think that you can't expand and grow from. Every time on this journey, you're continuing to learn more and more about yourself. I tell people all the time, so I said, law school, the biggest challenge of law school is unlearning bad habits and learning what works best for you.
I would like to answer this one question, if you don't mind. Someone's asking, do I have any tips for a 3-year looking for a job in their last semester? Stop paying attention to everybody else. Stop paying attention to everybody else. Because the thing I didn't like about law school was the tryhards. They just have to tell you when they get the A, and they have to tell you when they get the job offer. That's not everybody's story, okay? What you need to focus on is passing that bar exam. Put the feelers out, talk to the career services office, prep your resume. But the truth of the matter is you may not get that job offer before you graduate. And you have to be prepared to navigate that type of situation. And I will tell you that about 90% of my friends who had a job before they took the bar, they did not end up at that job, babe. Me neither. got my job offer before I took the bar exam, ran out of that place kicking and screaming the second before the ink was dry on my bar card. I was out of there immediately. Okay, so it looks nice on paper, and that's your type A personality talking. You know, you have to do this and it has to be in order. You need to focus. You need to pass school. You need to get the JD. You need your Juris Doctorate, and you need to pass the bar. Put the feelers out, but do not put too much pressure on yourself to get the job before you graduate. That's not what's important. You need to get the credentials.
Yeah.
That's what's important right now. Okay. Master's
Wow.
before law school, that's not necessary, especially if you already have the grades and everything. Nothing prepares you for law school. That's my take on it. I don't know if that's your take on it. There's nothing that's going to prepare you for it. There's certain things that will make you good at certain things, because absolutely being a paralegal and taking my bachelor's in legal assisting was totally helpful. I knew how to do legal research. I knew how to do legal writing before I came, but I still finished my first semester with a C average, babe, with all of that going on. Okay. So, yeah, you don't have to take the master's if it's going to help you like raise your acceptance ability, as I call it with my mentees, then great, but you don't have to do that. Okay.
Right. And just to piggyback on that one, what I want you guys to hear specifically what she said. She said, you don't have to worry about the master's if you have the grades and the scores. And she specifically said, but if you have other circumstances, that may be something that you want to consider. But also breaking it down, you can get legal experience without going to get a master's.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you guys a crazy story. You know how I got my first legal experience? I used to go to the courtrooms, and I would just sit there and go and meet with judges. And eventually they said, hey, what you doing in here?
Yeah.
And that's how I got my first opportunity. I remember other times going firm to firm, looking for opportunities to volunteer. Of course, now you guys don't have to go knock on doors. Y'all can just send DMs. And so use ChatGPT, find a little blocked email, and send that email to all the law firms in your area to try to get experience. What do you think about that?
Yes. I will talk about my girl Nasima again, my friend, my little legal assistant with no law firm experience. She's just going to school online. She moved here from the Midwest and just walked up into my office like, hey, I don't have any experience, but I'm ready to work. I want to be a lawyer someday. There are people who will respond to that. My first law firm job was before I went to law school, and it was the same situation. There was this Caribbean Black immigration lawyer that I was obsessed with, and he was in my area, and I did all the Googles and learned all about him. And the second he had a position come up, I was in his office, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, because I'm going to work for you, and here is why. You know, have some gumption. You don't have to always go by I must get the master's degree. Because guess what? Nasima is going to have a bachelor's when she graduates law school, but she's going to have a year's law firm experience. And she's going getting ahead of a lot of people with the master's degree. Because what experience do you have? What shows us that you're able to do this? You know, so there's 100 ways to skin a cat, as we say in Jamaica. That sounds terrible. But, but you know, there's a lot of different ways to do. You don't have to do a master's.
There we go. I see we have some other questions. Somebody wanted to ask, let's see here. Does your resume count to law schools? I have over 5 years of legal experience working for attorneys, and the law schools, I was wondering if it counts.
Yes. Absolutely, especially depending on, because there are some schools. I know you're much more apt at this. Like the work you do is amazing, but I really feel, because I worked in the admissions department of FIU Law School, and you know the stats on my school. It is very hard to get into that place. They look at the student holistically, so you might want to apply to schools that do that. You know what I mean? You're not just your LSAT score and your GPA. You're so much more than that. So I remember, I think it was that had an impact statement or something like that. Like they want to know what else you've done outside of school, you know? So definitely everything that you have that can work, spaghetti at the wall, baby. Show them who you are as a complete person, not just LSAT score, you know, recommendation. Think outside the box.
Absolutely.
Get the experience, do more stuff.
I mean, and just to piggyback on that, I mean, we're now in a day and era where I remember when I was watching TV, kids were making YouTube videos to apply to college. And, you know, I tell people now, let's go ahead and apply those same concepts to law school. I know, of course, Cal Law got in trouble because they're about to have people do videos.
I was about to say, I'm going to piggyback on you when you're done.
And they had to pull that out. But nevertheless, a new method to be able to do, you guys, is thinking outside of the box, is creating a website.
Yes.
Creating a website for your name, putting your website on your resume, so that way law schools
Wow.
can be able to visit you. And for so many of us out there, of course, during the pandemic, there's so many entrepreneurs out there who
Yes.
also want to go to law school. And one of the things I try to encourage you guys is your entrepreneurial talent was probably one of the biggest flexes to be able to show that you can be successful. Why?
Hello.
Because this is an example of my success. And that's something that could be able to apply towards law school. And to my guy out here who was talking about 5 years of legal experience, we want to make sure that you let that be known in your letters of recommendation. You can't have 5 years of legal experience and have some regular letters.
Hello.
You got to also let that 5 years really show itself in your resume, so people are able to see your value and your work. One of the things I tell them is, I said this. I said law schools only know what we share with them.
Yep.
So I'm not going to know you got all this sauce and all this seasoning.
Yeah.
If you holding it back.
I think the problem, again, especially if you're coming from a first-gen perspective, a lot of us who become lawyers or end up going to law school, you're so used to being the best. You're at the top of the class or you're near the top, most of you, right? And so you don't even understand that there are thousands of other people applying for that same spot in that 100 class or that 200 class of people. You have to stand out. All of what you do as a person is important. Everything. So that's genius. A website? That's fabulous. I had a mentee who would show up to the admissions office at FIU every week because he wanted us to know his face, and he would remind us that he was going to apply to law school. And he told me, most of my first mentees told me I was going to be their mentor. I didn't want to talk to nobody, but they told me that was going to happen, right? And he kept coming back until he got my phone number, not in a weird way. And he was like, because I have questions and everything for you, boom, boom, boom. That's still my guy that to this day, super proud of him. He just graduated. But he applied to FIU and he was in his nice little program. And he was like, ooh, they know me. I'm going to get in. And they waitlisted him. And he was like, excuse me? I was like, yeah, you are forgetting that I told you that this is one of the hardest programs to get into. Arguably the hardest in the state to get into.
Yes.
And so I was like, what are you going to do to stand out? I said, you're going to send the admissions director, because you have met her and you know her and she gave you her email. You're going to send her a statement of continued interest. He took what I said and took it to 1,000. He sent her a video.
Let's
produced.
Let's go.
He sent her a produced video. I am continuously in awe of this boy. But that's how he ended up getting in. You got to stand out. You got to stand out.
I mean, and I don't know if you guys notice, in all the rankings that I be posting, FIU is always up there. Always up there.
Number one bar passage rate in the state, honey. Go Panthers.
He said humble brag. But the thing about it is, I tell people on this journey, what it teaches you is like, how bad do you want it? You know, how bad do you want to get in? How bad do you want to go outside of your comfort zone for your LSAT score? How bad do you want it to be able to stand out? Are you willing to go visit schools? I made the post before the post with you. I sent them a script of how to get informational interviews. Use the script. Set up informational interviews. That's what her mentee did. If someone tells you what to do when it works, why are we not doing it?
Literally.
We send videos all the time. I mean, heck, we do it right here. Right here. I want you guys to realize that literally the power of your dreams is based off of the effort that you're willing to put into making it come true. So we have hands. Man,
ask the question. I am put.
Yeah, I am put said, can I ask something? Please do, sis. Please ask the question.
Go ahead and ask.
But until she posts a question, this is one of the things I always like to close with.
Okay.
I know oftentimes on this journey, what I tell people is there's a lot of ups, but boy, it's a whole lot more downs before you get to the ups. And I know people are either one that's trying to figure out what to do about the LSAT, people maybe trying to figure out what to do about the bar. You know, people they just got all their rejections, trying to figure out what to do on the verge of quitting. And I always like to give my guests the floor to give an encouraging word to people wherever they are in their journey to continue to move forward and push forward and keep trying.
What is the thing I want to tell? Okay, guys. Stop trying to be perfect. If you're taking the LSAT or you're taking the bar, let's just use that as an example. But there's a lot of my followers in here as well, and I know y'all don't care nothing about no law school. So this is going to be for everybody, but specifically for the LSAT and bar takers. The trick to the LSAT and the bar, you're not supposed to get everything right. The trick and the secret is in the practice. You need to learn how to take the exam, and that's what they're trying to teach you in practice, especially with bar prep. You're doing the same stuff every day. Some days you get everything right, some days you don't. Are you paying attention to what you're getting wrong? Not the fact that you're getting it wrong, but what it is that you're getting wrong, okay? Stop trying to be perfect. When you stop trying to be perfect and just surrender to the process of what's happening, it allows you to be present in the experience of whatever you're doing. And that's more important. That is something I have to tell myself all the time. Even as a practicing lawyer, I want to be perfect for my clients. I'm not going to be perfect every time. And especially if you run your own practice, I have 5 people that work for me. I have to delegate to 5 different people every day. Yes, do I fully toxically believe that I can do it better myself? I can't do everything though. I can't do everything though. And so I had to surrender to that. I'm not going to be perfect all the time. And so that is what I want to leave with you guys. You don't have to be perfect. No one's asking you to be perfect except you. Nobody's asking you to be perfect. You don't need to get 100% on the bar. You don't need to get 100% on the LSAT. Yes, honey, we all want the 170 plus to go to Harvard, whatever, right? Wherever you go to law school, babe, they didn't know about my law school when I graduated law school, and I eat those ICE attorneys alive when I walk in the courtroom. USCIS hates to see me come in. And it was an unknown school when I was going. You know what I mean? We were just up and coming. And so give into the process and just stop trying to be perfect. Please. That's my thing.
I think that's beautiful, sis. And to all you guys out there, I will definitely be posting this live as soon as it drops. Sis, thank you so much
for
joining us tonight. You guys, I want you guys to remember to stay encouraged and remember you have a support system. Sis told you to holler at her. You know I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot us a DM. We're here. You're not alone on your journey. You have people.
And share the information with other people, guys. He's doing amazing things, right? Trying to support you guys. I share your platform with every mentee that walks in because the resources you give are so important, you know, and so just make sure you are following and actually paying attention to what he's trying to tell you guys. Okay, people like him and Jazz Talks Law, we're all trying to tell you all the things, but you got to listen and act upon the things. So make sure that you guys are following along, listen to what he's telling you, and share his platform with more people. There's too much information on here for y'all not to be getting in school and getting these scholarships.
Absolutely.
Let's be real.
And again, we're praying for you, we're rooting for you, and we're here to support you. So continue to fight for your lawyer dreams until next Wednesday. And sis, thank you so much. Peace.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.